see. We'll see. Well, speaking of SIMP, it's going to be SIMP versus C'est La Vie in this next matchup. Let's talk about these two teams and tell you guys why this match matters. C'est La Vie is coming off a pretty tough loss against Simple Tankers from last week. And as much as we praise Simple Tankers, C'est La Vie is a team that you don't want to underestimate, especially the type of leadership that Callus has been able to bring to this team. Now, can they bounce back? Sure they can. Sure they can. But can they bounce back against a team called SIMP? Well, that's going to be the toughest challenge they're going to have the entire division. SIMP has deconstructed plays of teams they have played in the past. That's what allowed them to make it to the Season 3 finals. And they deconstructed top tier last week. They are completely ready to rumble in this series. And they are ready for Rude or Valacio's cheeky tactics that they talked about, at least from last week. But these are different tactics they're going to be facing against C'est La Vie. SIMP took their time to get the ball rolling in that series, and I think that's going to be the biggest window that C'est La Vie can find is in the first 5 minutes of the match and not in the last 5 minutes. It's still anybody's game, and as much as you love to root for the underdog, you never want to underestimate the underdog as well. And with that, I welcome the two team representatives to the face-off. Good evening, gentlemen. All right, I can't hear them. Hold on. Still can't hear them. No, we'll try to get this fixed here, gentlemen. Sorry about that fixed. We apologize about that. You and I have had a lot of history with talking to these teams, SIMP mostly. But what is, I always bring up Callus and I always bring up his professionalism, but what is your take on C'est La Vie?
Okay, so I think that C'est La Vie is one of those teams that has the potential to do a heck of a lot. Remember when Callus was on Wreak Havoc a few seasons ago and they beat Fnatic, the only time Fnatic has lost in the regular season, by the way. So I feel like there's somewhere in there, whatever team Callus is on, that you can just see that happen once more. I'm not sure if it's going to happen against SIMP, but, you know, it very well could.
Okay. I've been informed that we are going to go on Skype. Gentlemen, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can.
Yes.
Yay.
All right. We got it fixed. Thank you for your patience. Let's start off with Mac G. First off, loved your play on Ensk from last week. We've seen some very good reads of your opponents in the previous seasons. How do you read C'est La Vie?
I mean, it's tough to say. It's their first season in the Gold League, so we're taking this very seriously and giving them the respect they deserve as a Gold League team. And so we're excited for our match today.
Callus, I call you the Legend Slayer. Randall calls you the King Slayer. Are you still reeling from the match against Simple Tankers from last week?
Honestly, we really were. We didn't expect Simple Tankers to bring those strats that were that aggressive, and they just shocked us. We were knocked off our feet, but we're ready for this match tonight.
Okay, what have you done to prepare since last week against Simp?
We spent a lot of time just preparing for this match. Like, we were coming up with new ideas, what we can do, what we should expect from Simp, and hopefully you'll be able to see it in this match today.
All right, do you have any words for your opponents?
Nope. Well, I have utmost respect for Mac G and Simp, so good luck.
All right, Mac G, anything to say?
Good luck. It should be fun. So looking forward to it.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Good luck on the battlefield.
Stay easy.
All right, let's take a look at the rosters between these two teams so you guys can get a little more familiar with who's playing on which side. First off, why don't you tell me a little bit about C'est La Vie and the teammates, team members that you're looking forward to watching?
I'm looking forward to Big Cheese and possibly Kamidora Flaming Panda. Now, Big Cheese was the highest damage dealer last time with a good 70% accuracy, but the thing is Flaming Panda was making shots hit and dealing some damage. That's why he's 2100. But unfortunately, he wasn't actually penning all that much, which I think was a big problem. We have plenty of hits here and there, but we don't have as high a pen ratio for the guys that were making the hits happen. And that worries me for C'est La Vie, as consistently they were not getting enough connections.
Blue Boys captain, dude, assisted fire, over 1,000 damage on that end. Crimson Corsair, almost 5k damage from last week. Sing, over 6k damage. Sing, as long as you don't fall off any cliffs, you're going to do fine, especially with 79.4 accuracy and the accuracy of Crimson Corsair at 90.9. Well, that's some of the stats for some of those players. Rukil, I want to hear your rules for victory.
All right, so it's all to C'est La Vie this time. Simp is, of course, expected to win. C'est La Vie, you're the underdog. Don't be intimidated. Simp, players are just people. They still get scared. They still get rattled by unexpected things. Their tanks still have hit points. They have no more than you. They don't have any special ammo. Everyone's firing gold. So don't be worried. Don't get intimidated. If you do, the battle is already lost before it's even begun. Second is one step at a time. Don't get ahead of yourself. The path to victory is made one brick at a time. Yeah, I said that. The objectives, one at a time. Make them happen. Don't get ahead of yourself. Third is Simp strikes second. They're such a reactive team. That's why they're known for camping a lot. They play passively. They wait for you to make a mistake, and then they pounce. Callus has to watch out every transition from point to point, from objective to objective on the map, and make sure to cover his weak points when that happens, because that is exactly when Simp is going to make their move.
I hope everyone made sure to place their bets. Betting began when the face-off began. There was 4 minutes, a 4-minute window for you to place your bets. Hit that exclamation point, put bet, the number of points you want to bet, and the team name. If you're out of points, don't worry. Everyone always has 10 points. And with that, we're going to begin the first battle, the second match tonight. This is going to be a real tough act to follow, depending on how well Simp and C'est La Vie are able to play. But here we go. Battle's going to take place on Ensk. What do we have for tanks?
For tanks, I'm looking at 3 AMX 5100s and 2 IS3s for the side of Simp. 2 T1 Cunninghams as well. Other side, C'est La Vie looks like they're going to be 6 players tonight. Starting way down, 3 5100s, 2 IS3s, and a single T1. That hurts.
That is unfortunate, maybe due to scheduling, but with 6 players, we have seen teams win against a full range of 7. And Lord Rekneps, Bow Bow, and Dopper will be in the northern section at the beginning, and they're heading over to the east. Simp's doing the same. Simp in the red to the south, C'est La Vie north in the blue.
Well, Simp's playing that comprehensive strat I was talking about before. You're going to cover your base, cover the north. Be easy to defend. The attacks are a little bit limited. Just hit up the train tracks and you're fine. That north strat, though, from C'est La Vie, not too sure about that.
Well, taking a look at where Callus is, as the team commander, he's going to try to oversee what's happening with his team to call the shots, but it's going to be difficult this side of the map.
Yeah.
But he is going to be able to scout if there's any one-line push. And scouting has happened from Audible. Formerly Moadib, and he falls. Dopper gets the kill. Evening it up.
Yep. Well, I guess that's a good way to start. Simp kind of not able to make their T1 work, but the thing is they've still got Mac G. And if anyone knows anything about the Mac attack, second they throw him away, we're going to see some crazy play from Simp. Also, I want to note something else that was happening. Adroxus, remember that position from last week he was in?
Yes.
Was in the exact same spot. Looks like he's going to leave it and go east because not quite the same spots from the rest of the members on Simp, but they've verified that nothing sneaky's happening in the southwest. They're going to be taking that east side, doing exactly what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. Mac G, though, moving up very cleverly in the T1. I like this position up the 7 line.
Let's talk about Adroxus a little bit. People call him the Viking Steel Wall. The Viking Steel Wall. He loves to play in the IS-3s, T-32 sometimes, Pershing. He's battle buddies with Heavy 20. He's one of the most accurate players in the league, and that's what makes him a Viking warrior. Part-time, when he's not playing tanks, he's a Norse god.
Yeah, have you ever seen him? Of course, you were there on the interview, but
I have.
If any of you guys have ever seen him, he's like red hair.
He has the fire of 1,000 suns burning within his eyes.
That's intense.
It is. He's a very intense person. But when it comes to intensity or violence, he only prefers pillaging.
Oh, only pillaging?
Yeah. Well, now it's playing World of Tanks. But no, he's never pillaged anyone.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not. But I would venture a guess that he doesn't do that.
Well, with all these descriptors you're giving of him, I would venture he does.
Have you seen Kazo? People can describe him as someone you never want to meet in a dark alley, but he's a very nice guy.
Fair enough.
Callus has moved now towards the railroad position. 2 of the tanks on C'est La Vie are spotted. Now down to 1, Big Cheese, who took a hit earlier. In the IS-3, he's waiting for Simp to try to make a move. But Sim's MO is not to make the first move.
Yeah, they will be reacting to whatever they find from C'est La Vie, getting very limited spotting here and there. Only Flaming Panda getting spotted. Shots fired by Heavy 20. Up the train tracks, and now he's actually a little bit pinned if Bow Wow Big Cheese can make something happen. He does spot Big Cheese. He does spot Bow Bow. Lines up the shot, and whoa! What?
Oh, Heavy 20 against Bow Bow. Bow Bow's falling back. He doesn't know what happened. He's going, there's no way. There's no way. He's now moved away from the railroad track. And long-range fire, Bow Bow's trying to retaliate.
Poor Bow Bow.
All right, I'm gonna get off Bow Bow here. And I'm gonna show you guys what can happen if he fires. Whoa, a little bit too fast. Sorry. If he fires down this road, it's a very, very clean shot if he's able to make it. Heavy 20 was able to fire, but you see the shot has to be straight on because there's so much cover with these railroad tracks. No tank can fit down here.
Actually,
maybe a T1.
A T1 can
T1
fit down
can't
there.
fit down there, yes. But
It's
these tier 8s can't. Shot fired again to Heavy 20, and that's a bounce. So it's a long-range railroad fire you're going to find between these two teams.
And Heavy 20, as always, one of the best IS-3s we know in the league, making connections again and again. Now Sing getting connected onto from Simp as he tries to do the same thing Heavy 20's doing. Unfortunately, Sing, you are not an IS-3, you are a 5100. And so...
Glass cannon. You are a glass cannon, sir, and you will understand that. Sing takes another hit. 260.
Some of these are being absorbed by tracks, though, so not bad.
Another
one.
shot into the track. Sing says, bring it. I got no cliffs to fall off of. I'm totally safe.
What if he found a cliff to fall off? Think he could do it?
How did you fall off Ensk?
I don't know.
There's not a cliff for
Sing,
countries.
please.
We're just giving you giving you a hard time, Sing. It's all right.
I don't think he's going to be able to answer no that you're actually giving him a hard time.
I know.
But he doesn't.
But I want the energy to go out. So that he
Okay.
can feel like, hey, those commentators, they're not making fun of me. They're just having a good time.
Because he might fall off a cliff onto us.
Yes, that would be terrible. Terrible and poetic. More shots fired from long range. Blue Boys captain, he's swinging on the south side over to the west. And it may be a Sadie's Hawkins dance for Blue Boys captain because he's going to be alone here. Shot fired against Big Cheese. 92 damage.
Pretty slow trading back and forth. This is a strange range for a fight, isn't it? Off at 300 meters.
Yeah, but it's still viable to soften your enemy before you push. And that's what C'est La Vie's doing. They're now pushing down to the south. Reknaps and Flaming Panda are in the lumberyard.
Interesting way to do it.
And I'm looking at if Bow Bow, is it still Bow Bow over there? Yeah, if Bow Bow could push down to the south from here.
Maybe.
With the position that C'est La Vie has put themselves in. You got to be careful, though, because if Simp recognizes that Bow Bow is still up to the north, they could surround and swarm
Well, they do.
C'est La Vie's position.
They know he's still up there.
Yeah.
They're moving Blue Boys in, I think. No, they're not.
3:22 left on the battle clock.
Yeah, this one is not going anywhere too fast. Doffer, Flaming Panda, Lord, Bracknips. Looked like they wanted to push. But the thing is, Droxus has the best approach covered. So, I don't think we're going to see a push out of C'est La Vie. No matter how hard they would want to, they're not going to be able to.
Smack G and Blue Boys captain that's making the move now. They're heading up the 3 line. Well, right across the 3-4 line, right in the middle. Mac G is leading the charge. He's going on that scouting run. And Blue Boys captain could turret break here, meaning that turrets from Big Cheese or Bow Bow or Callus, even in the T1, would have to adjust to point their turrets to the west, allowing all of Simp from the south to push up.
And that looks like it's the plan. Sing is spotted as he begins moving in. And this is telling me Simp wants to make the push in. Adroxus also moving up a little bit. It's Crimson Corsair just waiting to go forward. And also Heavy 20 moving up the train tracks. Looks like Adroxus is spotted. He's going to put the pressure on. Dopper wastes a shell. Dopper getting ahead of himself. And now Blue Boys up to the north gets himself spotted.
2-minute warning. Blue Boys captain takes down Callus for the first shot. Mac G might push up to get some. Oh, nice shot from Blue Boys. It went through the railroad.
Looks for a
One
sec-
more. Big Cheese not even moving. He's not even moving. And Blue Boys gets the kill. I don't know if Big Cheese
Must have been tracked.
was tracked, but he wasn't even moving his turret.
Well, with that, cat pressure begins. MacG gets into cover. Blue Boys comes to support.
Reknaps is almost at 50% health here. Trying to hold that line. Sing fires from a distance, and Adroxus takes down Doppler.
Double
wow.
tap.
Nice. Nice double shot there. That double tap.
Adroxus and Heavy's Warrior are just sick in those IS-3s, and now Adroxus wants to move up. Crimson Corsair as well. Looking for Raknips, but he's in great cover. Not anymore, so he's going to take 2 shells at the same time.
Crimson waiting for it.
There he goes.
Adroxus fires right through the metal, right in this position right here. Nice play.
Gabao takes down Mac. Maybe able to take down Blue Boys, but no, Blue Boys is actually going to be ahead.
Sing's going to push forward as he is reloading. Bao Bao took a volley of over 2,000 damage in that engagement, and he falls. Simp takes battle number 1 on Ents with 48 seconds remaining. They were patient, and
Always.
that patience paid off. It really did.
Every time.
Every time.
Every time. Make us wait until the very end and then make the push.
Taking a
Every
look
time.
at the damage being dealt. Blue Boys captain, 8 for 8 in the 5,100. Following behind him, we have the IS-3s. We got Heavy 20. He was 5 for 7, 15 shots fired in that IS-3.
He was just letting him go. And the thing is, an IS-3 is not a sniper. It's not a sniper.
It's not a sniping tank. It's an Alpha Strike tank. It's a tank that gets up to the brawl mode really fast. Taking a look at Adroxus, he was 5 for 8. And moving down the line after that was Sing and Crimson Corsair in the 5,100s. The IS-3s outperformed damage-wise the 2 AMX 5,100s on the team.
It was because they were given so much time to be effective.
Yes.
They were able to just throw shells down range, not have to worry about long reloads into clip, and occasionally they were doing damage. That was it. That was all they had to do, and they were able to do enough. The whole entire time, Sing and Crimson Corsair were just sitting there in the backfield, just waiting around. They're like, all right, IS-3s, we've got this. Let's just twirl our thumbs. That's what they went for.
They were waiting for that opportunity to push up. The understanding that we all have of Callis and his team, Sailor being a man down, is tough. But they took out one of the T1s very, very quickly here, so it was evened up. But Blue Boys captain and MacG moved out at the appropriate time. Because of that, they had plenty of time, 48 seconds, but still plenty of time, to clean up what was left of C'est La Vie. In the end, though, are we seeing Simp falling back to their older type play, or is this a mixture of both? A mixture of, we're going to wait for them to make mistakes, and they're not going to make any mistakes, then we're going to pounce on them. We're going to push.
I think they kind of leave that one answer, that push, until the very end when they have that option to win, but they can still fall back on the draw because they never want to drop a single map.
Probably the most safest playing team in the league.
I don't know. Fnatic looks like they want to be similar.
Well, we'll see tomorrow as they have their next battle. Here we go. Battle number 2 is back to take place on Mines between these two teams. What do we have for tanks?
For tanks, I'm looking at 5,100, 2 T-32s, 2 1390s for the side of Simp, spawning in the south. On the other side, C'est La Vie's got 2 5,100s, T-32, and 2 1390s. Doesn't look like they want to put anyone up on the hill, similar to what we just saw from #RU.
A lot of 5,100s on this battle.
They're
on
just
this
a good
map.
tank.
They are. But if you catch one just out of position, GG. For a lot of these teams against Simp so far, well, 2 teams at least. This didn't work for top tier last time. Maybe C'est La Vie's got a better way to do this.
All right, Clutch, what did you tell everyone about the east side of this map?
I said that it's a viable position if you can try to slip past southern defensive strikes, especially if they decide to go water side, but not if you sacrifice the hill for the T-32s. Flaming Panda right now, he is in a T-32, and he's trying to hold the line as much as he can.
Against 2 T-32s.
Yeah.
How does 1 T-32 even stand a chance?
Just pray for bounces.
But it's 2 T-32s.
You got to have
So much
double bro
freedom.
fist, no cons going at once.
There's too much freedom happening.
Well, take a look. Take a look. Oh, nice bounce off Flaming Panda. I love it. Big cheese. And Doppler pushing down. Doppler takes a hit, trying to use cover of the houses. And now the two 5100s are moving to the south.
That's one way to do it. Singh looks like he's mostly alone. Blue Boys is there. Heavy 20 coming to back him up. Maybe able to hold off this aggression, as it does look like Simp is going to just take the hill. Not even care.
Doppler missed a shot against Singh. Doppler is super low. Big Cheese gets in front to HP share. Can they overmatch now on the hill? No, it's just the T-32. And it's 3 tanks against 2 to the south. Big Cheese is super low. Another miss by Doppler. Multiple misses coming out of the 5100s.
The damage spread is unacceptable right now. I don't think Simp is going to be able to lose any of its tanks. C'est La Vie is losing out. They missed too many shells. T-32s up on the hill may have a weird fight on their hands, but looks like, wow, Simp's actually going to lose heavy 20.
Yeah, Doppler is able to get that, and Singh is reloading. But so is Big Cheese. And Bao Bao is up in the 1390. He's not going towards Singh or Blue Boy's captain. I don't know if they were calling shots or if he's aiming towards the hill.
Well, at this time, Adroxus looking towards Flaming Panda. Gets his engine damage. Crimson Corsair finally able to take down Flaming Panda. Hill control and control of this battle, I expect, goes back to Simp.
Blue Boys and Bao Bao are going to duke it out. Blue Boys misses. Bao Bao returns fire. He's got 1 shot left. Can he get a high roll and get him?
Even with a high roll, just probably not.
Oh, big bounce off Bao Bao, but he falls. Blue Boys able to take it. And Simp is up 2-0 against C'est La Vie. This is not the east side I'm referring to for mines.
Well, Josh, you can't just set an asterisk. It has to win.
How dare you?
I mean,
it's true. I know. I know.
It happens. The push was too aggressive, and a similar problem to what we've seen in the past with east side pushes, like what we just saw from C'est La Vie, is of course that they didn't properly prep the hill. Hill control is necessary for an east side push to succeed. If it doesn't happen, you're going to end up situations like this, with 2 T-32s sitting up on the hill, able to shoot into the back of your tanks, trying to take control of the cap. But of course, you can't win. You just can't. This is not a winning situation. You would have had to make all of your connections. You would have had to focus fire better. C'est La Vie did none of these.
Doppler missed 3 of his shots. 3, Rukiel. Half of his clip. Completely negated. Completely out of the game. If he had taken down Singh earlier, it could have been differently, perhaps. Maybe. But yeah, it's not successfully working so far for these teams. Is there a possibility it could work? Yes, I'll still put it out there, but not in the execution coming out of these two. Maybe it's another T-32 of the hill. Maybe it's not using a 5100. Maybe it's an Object 416.
Maybe it's doing this in 2 steps instead of one,
which
is just take the hill, then secure the hill, then make your east side push. It's a little riskier. You can't afford to lose as many hit points, but you actually have to dominate the hill and not be able to lose it to 2 T-32s. Once the T-32s are able to retake the hill, the strategy falls entirely apart.
It does. You lose too much ground. You lose too much ground for what you think is a big game, but at the end it's not, because you are completely exposed from that hillside. And there's great cover to the south. Simp used that cover very, very well. Singh was able to stay alive for a long time. It's a difficult approach. Very difficult. However, we still applaud C'est La Vie for trying it. Maybe one team will be able to get it right.
Clutch will always applaud east side.
The next battle is going to take place on Prohorovka between these two teams. Rukiel, what do we have for tanks?
For tanks, looking at Pershing, T-69, 3 1390s, and 2 T-1 Cunninghams. Other side, C'est La Vie's got 2 T-32s, 3 1390s, and that single little T-1 Doppler.
I'm going to be following Callus in the T-32. I want the world to know this tank has no cons. It is a gorgeous piece of freedom.
Only players have cons?
Only the players have cons. That's right.
Well, let's see how its stealth is as Blue Boys moves up this opening scout run.
Stealthiest tank, NA.
Well, Callus is spotted.
Blue Boys not seen
and Flaming
yet.
Panda.
Yes, they did see Blue Boys. Take that back.
Well, works both ways. T-32 spotted, reveals to Simp what's going on. Simp, of course, going for their east side defensive position. They're going to put 1 shell into Big Cheese, force him to back off, and lucky for C'est La Vie, they've kind of made an opening move to where they can actually kind of take the east side on the other side of the tracks and make this a fight which could actually happen instead of a fight which probably won't happen, and then we'll go down and lose all our time. But east, far up the west, Dopper, Bao, Lord Racknips, all coming in.
Flaming Panda and Callus are going to be the battle buddies in the T-32, like you mentioned. Crimson Corsair fired once before. Blue Boys moddable still have all their shots. Moddable in T1, but that can still make a difference. C'est La Vie now moving from the west with their IS-3, or excuse me, their AMX 1390s. Wow, if they had IS-3 on this map, that'd be tough. They're going to head down the one line, crossing across Juliet and Kilo towards the flag cap.
At the same time, looks like little damage has been dealt. Callus takes 1 shell from Heavy 20. And because there's no one really covering the north, might.
Blue Boys captain, he's spotted. Bao could get a shot on him. No, he falls back down. And now Bao is going to trigger the flag cap. Dopper is low, 106 damage.
Audible spotted. Bao gets the kill.
Nice shot.
Now we've got a return. Sync's coming back. Blue Boys is already there. And it looks like Crimson Corsair may be able to join them.
Now Bao fires on the move, misses Blue Boys. They get off the flag cap. Shut down from the amount of shots coming from the northern section, unless the T-32s can go in there and punish.
If Bao goes over right now, little does he know, but Blue Boys does not have any shells. Could get the kill.
Wow. Wow. The defense of Blue Boys.
Well, Sing is covering him a little bit. I don't know if they know. No, they do know that.
It's like the Wildlings. They don't know that there's only 1,000 men at the wall.
They figured that one out, though.
Yeah.
Well, Traded Fire Sing taking plenty of damage. 1,037. Blue Boys is able to pop on up after he gets reloaded, pumping them all into the Bracknips, but 2 misses.
And Blue Boys sees him. And now he's going to pounce on him. 2 more shots left for both tanks. Bao moved in and then pulled back.
Sing's down.
Sing has fallen. Callus got the kill. Bao fires against Blue Boys. Can get another one. Needs to time it right. And he gets it.
1 more. Blue Boys is going up and over. Doesn't care.
Bao lines it up. He's ready to fire. And Lord Reknaps gets it.
Now
however, T1 still on the flag cap, but there's still enough to the south.
No, there's plenty of tanks to the north, though, from SIMP. 3 of them, Crimson Corsair, Droxus, and Heavy 20, all able to just unload to the south. They're not getting enough connections, though, and someone's going to have to go back and stop Mac G on the cap.
Oh, Callus is in trouble. Can he get out of there? Yes, for now. And he falls. That Droxus gets the kill. Got to aim for that hole. That's how you take down the T-32s. Bao, Reknaps, and Big Cheese holding onto the flag cap with 9 seconds left. Crimson Corsair is going to be the first one down there to try to get it. 5 seconds. He needs to get a shot. He needs to get it now.
1.
Oh, base has been captured. C'est La Vie needs to hold this for a couple more seconds. And
the damage is still coming out.
The damage is still coming. Nope, that's it. They really get it. They're able to get it. C'est La Vie are your winners.
Wow. That was surprising. I was expecting SIMP to be able to defend that much better, and they didn't. C'est La Vie just were so persistent, I guess, that SIMP was not ready for that. They expected C'est La Vie probably just to get off. I mean, after one point, I would stop pressuring the cap after losing tanks and taking so much damage, but SIMP wasn't making any connections.
It was holding the center of the map for the longest time, using the T-32s and the other tanks that they had available to hold SIMP back. And that allowed them to have the amount of time and the amount of tanks still alive to go for the flag cap. And Callus was taking those shots, moving towards them, moving towards the danger, and then pulling off, causing all them to wait, and then Adroxus getting the final shot. That 15 seconds of Callus still kind of playing with them is what allowed them to win.
Fair enough.
That was very, very, very good flag capture approach coming from C'est La Vie. And look at how they line up.
Part. I didn't get to see this part. I was looking from SIMP's perspective, and from SIMP's perspective, completely different. It's like, why aren't we able to get these connections? That's because that was perfect lineup. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was. C'est La Vie. Having a couple cards up their sleeves and pulling them out. I liked it a lot. I really liked how they were able to utilize the flag cap pressure on Prohorovka. Teams need to take note of that.
All right, well, the next map will be Cliff. which was our map of the week last week.
Mm.
I'm wondering if people are going to learn anything from that. If we're going to see blue boys up on the top of the mountain, sneaky one more time, maybe?
Perhaps. But there was a draw that had happened of SIMP versus Refuse to Die. Or not Refuse to Die, but the team that they faced, top tier. A draw had happened because both teams had taken significant damage on one of their tanks, and so neither team wanted to push up. Could be a different case here. And if C'est La Vie studied SIMP last week, they could maybe find a weakness this week. Let's see what we have for tanks. So we move on to battle number 4.
All right, looks like we've got a Pershing, T69, 3 1390s, and 2 T1 Cunninghams for the side of SIMP, who will be spawning in the north. In the south, C'est La Vie in the blue will have a single 5100, 4 1390s, and an MS1.
From C'est La Vie?
C'est La Vie, they brought an MS1.
Oh, right. People wanted to see different tanks. Here you go.
Well, that's a French lineup.
Vive la France, says Dopper.
Allons-y, says Sing, as he's going to try and find Bao Bao. Bao Bao trying to get up there. Will approach the hill first and may be able to escape, as no one's loaded yet. and Sing actually going to help him? Yeah, Sing's just going to push him on up. Bao Bao says thanks. Merci.
Reknaps, Bao Bao pushing across the other side. They're up top. Sing takes a hit. Heavy 20. Oh, dodges 2 shots.
Backup has arrived.
Wow. Sing is hurting 50 HP or 50%, now down to 75. Damage has been done to Sing. 75%.
All 5 T8s are in the low ground. Huge disadvantage right now for SIMP. They might actually lose this based on that alone if C'est La Vie can get their crossfires set.
Oh, Blue Boys is in trouble. Callus can line up a beautiful shot against him. He misses, but Big Cheese gets it.
Now Callus can get a little wider. Oh, heavy 20 though is an easy shot.
I don't know about the
damage though. And they take down Maudable.
T1 down on both sides here. C'est La Vie has been a man down this entire series. And Reknaps, Flaming Panda, and Callus up top. Callus and Flaming Panda reloading. Reknaps at 5 shots. SIMP low HP.
I bet C'est La Vie wishes right now they'd brought a T69 or 2, because they would be tearing these guys apart. But the 5100 is just so poor that I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. I'd expect maybe something a little bit wider as far as the push from Bao Bao. But Lord Raknips could just come back in. Big Cheese taking a big hit. Oh, Big Cheese could go for it. He will. No, he misses the Blue Boy shot, and he takes so much damage that he's forced to back off.
Lord Reknaps, he's the one with the shots.
Oh, that's one way to do it. Callus getting off the hill. Flaming Panda getting off the hill. They're going to come around down low and just unload into the unsuspecting sides of SIMP.
Oh, they have so many shots and so much HP. Callus and Flaming Panda could get this. Heavy 20 is so low. They could push up and clean up.
They could push onto the top. Callus and Flaming Panda need to move in right now, get the kills necessary, and they will.
We see Sing. They're going to line it up. Flaming Panda is hit for 500. So's Callus for 721. Sing still alive. Big shot against Flaming Panda. Lord Reknaps, however, takes down Sing, and they're going to try to adjust their position against the remaining SIMP tanks, but SIMP is keeping the fight alive here.
But will they have enough damage? Callus might not have enough damage to finish this up. He may actually go down to Heavy 20. No, Heavy 20 is reloading. Now Reknips is trying to get away. Bao Bao and Big Cheese are going to be forced to engage onto Crimson, who just has so much damage right now. Maybe even will finish off. Yes.
Gets both of them. Gets both of them. Adroxus is going to wait. Callus and Lord Reknaps, last one's alive, and they're going to have to forsake the south and head to the north. And who's behind them? It's got to be Adroxus.
It is in the medium. Pershing. T69 up top. And on the cap, it will be Mac G and Heavy 20.
How did SIMP stay alive?
Huge mistake from C'est La Vie. Very simple. Their lineup was such that when they ran into the situation, they didn't have an answer. And when they tried to get crossfires, they weren't creative enough with that. And they were not coordinated enough to pull guns and just keep their opponent occupied in one spot. Also, when they finally came to the push all the way in, they didn't kill Heavy 20 first. Should have been from both the south and the north, both sides at once.
Out the tanks on the flag cap. 2-1, and the base will be captured. SIMP will take the series 3-1 against C'est La Vie. The final battle taking place on Cliff. And it goes to a flag cap. If C'est La Vie had different tanks, for example, a T-69 or even a consistent fire T-32 or Pershing, could that have been a different story, Ruko?
We would have seen a completely different story. We would have seen just SIMP getting torn up as the battle went by. Pershing on the high ground with a hold down position and gun depression, very potent. You can pen that sometimes, but not all the time. T-32, though, would have been nigh impenetrable from the high ground, and we would have seen SIMP very easily disposed of. Just what happens when you bring a French lineup like that. Luckily, though, they did catch them out with Bao Bao, and we did see a nice audible from C'est La Vie. They had all of the options, every reason to win. Then north-south is what I think would have done it, pushing around like they did with Callus and with Flaming Panda to the north, and sending one more tank around to the south to finish off Heavy 20. That would have been victory. But when this push happened, right here, you saw tanks get focused down too easily, and no one came in from the top, and that is why you saw Flaming Panda just evaporate. Following that, Raknips was just pressured too hard. You didn't have enough focus fire.
Not enough focus fire indeed. And those top tanks had that hesitation, though, because they are at such low health. Such low health. And if they dive bombed off that cliff, they could have killed themselves.
They could have.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't have been there in the first place with that much damage taken. There were shots missed by that 5100. That was...
they could have fallen back and maybe swept
Big Cheese.
from the south.
Big Cheese had a kill waiting to happen, and he rocked himself backwards. He just, instead of sitting there zeroing his shot, taking the damage necessary to get the kill, he just threw himself backwards when he should have fired, and the shell went high. I think it was against Blue Boys, and Blue Boys lived a little longer than he should have. We would have had a tier 8 down against C'est La Vie way sooner than we did in that battle if a few different decisions had been made. Calmer heads from C'est La Vie, but not today.
Let me ask this question. Does this match solidify C'est La Vie's worthiness of being in the Gold League?
Yes, they're worthy to be here, but they make so many little mistakes that I worry for them being a top 8.
Okay. Well, I mean, we all agree that they are worthy enough to be here. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in the Gold League. But this is their first time in the Gold League. This was a better performance compared to what we saw against Simple Tankers. They're down 0-2, though. They are one match away from going into a must-win scenario for all their matches, for even a chance to make it, or at least be in a better place for tiebreakers or wildcards.
Yeah, and they do play comprehensively. It's very good play. It's just not up to the level of SIMP. SIMP is on a higher tier than C'est La Vie right now. SIMP is being joined by other teams, and we could potentially see if anyone else is going to join SIMP up there in the potential first place to challenge SIMP, but I'm not sure C'est La Vie is quite there yet.
All right, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, the third match of the night, that's Fun Gaming versus Victoria's Secret. Don't go anywhere. The WGLNA Season 4 continues after this.